Hello and welcome to session 5 of our Twilight 2000 campaign, The Long Way Home. I'm Andy, I'm the GM, and I shall let my players introduce themselves. So starting with Nick.
Hello, I'm Nick. I play Kowalski, the unit's combat engineer and current de facto leader of our little band.
Chris, who plays Joe, unfortunately is away this week. So Carl.
I am Carl. I play Cymbalski, the Polish resistance member that is with the group.
Okay, thanks, Gregg.
Hi, I'm Gregg. I play Jimmy Stockton, the young 19 Delta Cavalry Scout. Generally a new addition to the group, and I would just want to say, long live Ukraine.
Yeah, truly.
Truly, yeah, definitely. Mike.
Sorry, I didn't want to push my button. I'm Mike, and I play Jesse. He's a sniper that is out scouting for the group.
Okay, so just to remind you, so you're in where we left it was you're in the hotel. Having a drink. You've all been given, I believe it was a shot of vodka each as a welcome by Stanislav, who is the proprietor, and it's the end of the work day. As I said, there's lots of suddenly there's more people in the village. They've all come out. A large number of them come out of the mines. They've all gone off to the various wash houses to clean themselves up, and then it's all seems to be done very proper. There's one wash house for the men and one for the women, all very properly done, and then the village as such comes to life a bit. It's started to get it's not quite dark yet, but it's starting to get a bit darker, and it's the miners finishing seems to be the prompt for various other things to come to life. So the engineering workshop suddenly start to hear the sound of some the sound of some tools, some electric tools working there. Most importantly, you hear the sound of the steam engine in the steam house starting up, and a lot of and in various places little lights start to flicker on, and in the hotel a few lights, a few electric lights pop on, and people start to come into the hotel. A couple to have some food, a few others to have a drink, and it seems to be there seems to be two main places that people congregate for a social life in the evenings. One is the hotel, and then almost opposite is a village hall. And it seems that suddenly you start to see various kids appearing as well, and they seem to be more gathering in the village hall, and then some. A lot of the adults seem to be gathering. The kids gathering in the village hall, and the adults start gathering in the hotel. And there are eventually a couple of people are starting to produce things like guitars, and there's a bit of it's not a party or anything, but it's sort of like a quiet pub or bar.
Well, people just trying to entertain themselves for a little bit before they go to sleep and get up and start breaking their backs again in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything you guys particularly want to do? You were talking about trading some stuff to get some sort of currency or credit to buy more drinks. You've also just to remind you've also been given a bed for the night for free here as well.
Oh wow, right on.
I believe, yeah, it was maybe not necessarily for more drinks, but we were definitely talking about trading some of the stuff that we picked up from our recent combat, some of the extraneous stuff for, well, whatever. I guess we'll see what they have to trade.
Well, okay, so there's two things. So Kasparek himself, Stanislav Kasparek. So let me just, I should just to remind you, that's this guy. He is offering you. Did that come up?
It did.
Okay.
Yep.
He's offering you, offering to basically trade for a line of credit on some drinks, and then also, where is he? I've lost an NPC. It is this guy you haven't met yet. That's why. So this guy, Thomas Dudka, comes in. So he runs the general store. Just to the left of the hotel.
Yep.
So he runs that, and he seems well. He comes in and he looks for looks around and sort of picks out several of you. Unsurprisingly, you four.
Well, we're not from around here. It's it's the American uniforms.
Yeah, he's picking you out rather than some of the other cavalry soldiers with you, and he wanders over and says in reasonably good English, "You have items for trade. I am the I run the store, and the village has appointed me as the person to lead trade negotiations. So if you have items to trade, then I can possibly trade with you, or I can or you can trade with Stanislav here if all you wish is beer and vodka. Or possibly some food."
Okay. I'll start speaking to him in Polish. We're certainly interested in trade. We're certainly interested in trading. We're also, we have stuff to trade. And we want to see what you have to trade, and we'd like to work out some sort of way to get credit and whatnot. I'm amazed that you folks don't have any security out.
Oh, we have sentries out. We have a militia, but we are mostly left alone.
There's all right. It must be nice. I haven't seen that. There's a lot of villages that thought they would be left alone, and they weren't. Especially villages that can produce coal.
Well, coal gives you something to trade, and I should say no more.
Well, I certainly don't want you to violate any trusts or whatnot. So yes, we do have some stuff we'd like to trade. What I'd like to do is I'll need to talk with my fellows and find out exactly what we want to trade with whom. But yes, we're looking right now. Right now, we're looking at a meal and some place to sleep and. We're looking for a meal, someplace to sleep, and maybe an opportunity to get clean. And it seems that we've come to the right place.
Okay. I will be having a drink at the bar. Come and talk to me when you wish.
Will you be? Let me see. It's you said it's about. You said it was. You said we arrived about noon, and I guess it's early evening.
No.
You come out of the mine.
You arrived mid-afternoon.
Mid-afternoon.
Yeah,
okay.
From memory, and then it's now about sort of 6 o'clock, something like that.
Oh, early. Yeah. So it's the evening.
Yeah.
Will I be able to find you at the store in the morning?
Yes. But if you wish to trade, then I will open the store up. So don't worry too much about the zone.
Well, on the other hand, I'd hate to have to go looking for you in a mine.
No, I run the store. Luckily, I don't have to work down the mine.
Well, in any event, then, so please, all right, then we will. Let me talk to my comrades, and we will see you in the morning then.
Okay. Just pause there. Jimmy and Mac, were you two back in the because you've gone for a walk around the village? Were you two back, or were you still wanting to wander around and look at things? I can't remember.
No, I
Pretty
believe
sure
we left.
ended at the bar.
Yeah, we did. And I was asking the mayor in reference to the coal storage, kind of get an idea of that whole dynamic and when the last time an outsider, as far as the Russians or the Soviets, or anybody else, marauders of that type of sort, had been to the village. So, yeah, we're back in the bar.
Okay. So, what I mean, right. Essentially, game mechanics wise, domestic food, which is effectively what they've got. So you need to knock off a food ration a day. Yeah, you haven't paid that cost yet today, and it's domestic food is a price of 10 units, or 10, because they seem to have this surrogate currency of bullets, of 10 per ration. Okay.
Okay.
Now you have got.
Were they not going to feed us tonight for bringing their people back to town?
Did they? Did
Sure.
There you go, Mike.
Did they say? Did I say that? I can't remember. I can't remember. Did I say that last time?
Thought we were getting free room and board for tonight.
Was it room and board?
because of that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
Unless I'm wrong.
No.
Speak up if I am.
No. That.
No, I think that was right.
Okay. Good. Right. Okay. So food there is laid on. So that's for today. Okay. But just to give you, for instance, just some sort of trade values as such, domestic food is listed at 10 per unit as such, 10 per ration per day. You've got, there is, including Sunday, who's critically injured and in the.
Oh, he's still alive. I'll be damned.
Yeah, he's in the medical centre being treated, and there are 15 of you, including him. So there's 14 mouths to feed. So to put in context,
that's 140 rounds of ammo.
Yeah, or other things.
In value.
Yeah.
In value. Why don't we just take to using value statements as credits?
Yeah.
And
yeah. So
just generic term.
Yeah. So a sleeping you recovered 7 sleeping bags. The book value, and there will be a negotiation on this. But the book value on those is 25 each.
Okay.
A blanket is 10 each. You've got a 2-man tent, which is 50, and you've got 2 4-man tents, which are 150 each.
All right.
And then you've got a compass, which is 10. So there are other things.
There. On the other hand, there's also stuff we can use, like a compass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I think looking at the list of stuff that we have, it might be worth hanging on to the tents.
Yep.
Because you never know when you're going to need a spare tent, and also they're pretty decent sized tents. So.
Yep.
Spare sleeping bags probably worth hanging on to.
We all have sleeping bags.
That's true.
We were all equipped with sleeping bags. On the other hand, if we had any blankets, that might be something the hotel could use.
Yeah, the blankets we can. Well, and it's not just the hotel; the general store might be able to use them too, because other people in town might want to buy from him, or anyone else who ends up passing through later. But I was thinking, yeah, like the blankets are probably a good thing to maybe get rid of. Some of the tools that we picked up, like the Matic and like stuff like maybe the lump hammer. I don't know if we're planning on doing a lot of construction ourselves, but unless we are,
I
I
think
don't
Dro
think we
wanted.
need to.
I think Dro wanted to keep quite a lot of that
You
stuff.
know,
Okay.
yeah, it comes down to this. You know, you never need a shovel until you need one really bad.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see here. I know. Well, we've got four. Okay, we have.
I'll tell you what something.
Andy, looking at the list here, just I need to answer a question here real fast. What is the difference between a bedroll, a blanket, and blankets?
So a bedroll is something with some stuffing in it designed to sleep on.
Oh, I see. Okay, so a ground mat.
Yeah.
A ground mat. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Excuse me. All right. That's cool. That's the Civil War reenactor in me. You know, bedroll means something you roll up and drape over your shoulder.
The interestingly possibly overly valuable thing according to the book prices, and obviously some negotiation, is you've got 9 Soviet issue backpacks. Those are 50 each.
Yeah, we could. All right. First off, looking at the I'm sorry, the guy. Stanislaw Kasparek. Let me see. So we took a fair amount of stuff from these Russians. So I guess what I need to ask from you is what would you like? Or excuse me, I know. I'm going to take one of the oil lamps and try and trade it.
Okay, without role playing through the whole thing, Stan just starting at the top of the list. And Stanislav, I mean, basically Stanislav and Thomas joined together.
Okay.
Very quickly, it seems that this appears to have a bit of a sort of communal collective approach to things. Yeah. But they're interested in weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go big. Isn't everybody?
They're interested in things like the webbing and helmets and stuff like that.
Okay.
They're interested in tools, but you're not interested in. Well, I think as Chris isn't here, I think we'll just say Joe's preferring to keep those.
And we have the vehicles to carry those heavy ass things.
Yep. They're interested in the bedrolls, the blankets, the sleeping bags. They're less interested in the back. Actually, no. Sorry, no. They're reasonably interested in the backpacks and the various other satchels and things like that. They're not interested in Soviet uniforms at all, but they are interested in the various civilian clothes. Okay.
I would advise our party to not sell things like boots because those are going to be harder to manufacture and find as
as this goes on. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's making boots anymore, guys. You know?
And things like, well, that's an interesting question, but okay. Then things like tobacco and stuff like that, that might be of interest.
I think one of the players wanted the tobacco.
I only wanted half the cigarettes, and I already put them. And yeah.
Okay. So. Well, I'm gonna keep the other half of the cigarettes because they're light. They're light and easily tradable.
Okay. Can you put on your character sheet then 28 cigarettes, please?
I will do that in a minute. I'm just trying to get to the point to where I'm actually getting ready to make a I guess it's a manipulation check. Is that the negotiation skill?
Yes, it will be. It will be. Yeah. Then,
all right.
So just bear with me a sec. And then they are interested in the oil lanterns as well.
Sure.
And the oil for it. And in fact, they're also actually interested even in the empty bottle of lamp oil.
Okay. Well, what do they have to trade to us?
So They.
I mean, so far we're the only ones making an offer here.
So they've got they have some food that they can trade.
Okay.
What else do you want? They've got coal. They've got food. They've got and the food just to be they've got there appears to be they've got livestock here, and so they've got the produce from that. So they've got they've got some chickens, they've got eggs, they've got
they've got probably got some pork. Some pigs.
That's that sort of stuff. Yeah, okay.
All right.
They've actually got there's actually a number of horses as well. So they've got a load of sort of horseshoes, stuff like that. That's, I would imagine, no interest to you. They actually got quite large amounts of beer and moderate amounts of vodka. They can sell you that. Is there anything? I mean, they've also got their workshop, and so some sort of trade separately. Some sort of trade separately.
I'm sorry.
So some sort of trade needs to be done separately for the for use of their tools to move the to move the pintle mount to the UAZ and so on. So you're swapping your vehicles around.
Okay, and the UAZ was it the one was it the hard covered sedan version, or is it the canvas covered?
It's a
Jeep equivalent.
It's a canvas covered Jeep equivalent.
Okay, great. Always good to know. Let's see.
Is there anything else that you are particularly interested in?
All right. We've been on. So.
And sorry, that's a question for all of you. So, if there's anything,
Food and ammo.
Are you willing? First off, can you reload ammo?
They don't reload ammo.
Okay. Hey, they got a workshop. It's a good question to ask.
The comment you get from that, the response you get from that, actually comes from Thomas Dudka. He says you'll need to go to Krakow for ammo.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Yeah, we'd heard rumors of Krakow, but we weren't sure. All right. What we need immediately for tonight is a safe bed, a bath. Tomorrow it would be really, tomorrow one of the things we're looking for is perhaps someone to do our laundry for us. We've been on operation since the beginning of April.
We did get baths and our uniforms laundered for free previous to this. So just assume we were rolled into that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Cool. Sorry, just the kind of stuff.
It's a valid thing to raise, and you didn't know, so it's all good.
I was clearly very generous last session.
A wise and magnanimous DM.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Oh.
So sorry, Greg. I think you started talking about something you wanted as well. Did you say was it food and ammo?
Yeah, and that's just in my opinion. I mean, food, ammo. As far as for their workshop repairing anything we need repaired. Otherwise, I'm not really sure what was in the group prior to as far as equipment, but that's really the biggest thing I see at this point.
Well, just say in terms of equipment, everything you've got is listed on the vehicle stores, or is the stuff you recovered, which is in that Discord post. Okay, so you can see what's in the vehicles, and you've got quite a bit of gear. Yeah.
So how can I repair my rifle to get it back up to 5? Would I have to try and work a shift?
Spend another shift doing it. So you can be sat in the bar doing it more if you wish.
Not really as a general rule, I was always taught that if you're drinking vodka, it's really not a good idea to be playing with firearms.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
One other thing that we can also pay with is services, because we all have training in various different areas. Like I can actually, if they are willing, as a form of payment for whatever we need, if we decide that we don't have enough that we're willing to let go to pay for all the like food or whatever else that we end up trading for, I can help them like better their defenses. I'm a combat engineer. Part of what I do is setting up fortifications and finding the best place for said fortifications.
Well, that's going to take time.
That's true.
Thomas says that's interesting. You'll need to talk to Carolina about that. And Carolina's the sort of she seems to be the equivalent of a mayor, but she just describes herself as the leader. And then Stanislaw chips in. I don't think that would be something we'll need, to be honest.
Okay. It was just something I wanted to put out there as something else that we had available. I was more putting that out to the players.
have skills. Yeah, we have skills. First off, at this point, we have a workshop and a safe place to give the vehicles a thorough going over, because we've been driving them pretty hard for,
Well, if you want to, if you're prepared to trade them the Chevy, then essentially they'll let you have free use of the workshop for anything. In return for that, they'll give you free use of the workshop for the day, which is enough time for Dro to sort out the pintle mount and probably to do routine maintenance. And they've got other mechanics, and they can help do routine maintenance. So essentially, routine maintenance can be done on all the vehicles, and that would also give a chance. Did the armor got damaged on one of the on
Sunday
blew right through the door.
Yeah, so that would also give a role to repair that. Okay.
Okay. And something else to consider is that these folks being able to trade food is actually very important, because we really do want to. If at all possible, we want to try and save our MREs and our Soviet rations for when we have to travel fast.
Yeah, because
we have an opportunity, and domestic food is better for you anyway.
Yeah.
So, how many days of rations do you wish to attempt to trade for? So there's 15 of you. Sorry, no.
There's 15 of us.
Hang on a sec. Was that including? So.
And does that include Sunday? Because he's
that includes Sunday.
Group. Okay. All right. I'll be right back. I've got a AFK for just a half a second, but yeah, figure out how many days of rations you guys want to do. For those that are interested, or if I can't get back in time, my empathy is A, my manipulation is B, and I get a +1 for negotiating prices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're definitely the trader.
Yeah, you'll be our face in this deal.
Okay. Well, give me just a moment. You guys sort out. Sort out what you want to do. I just have to go around the corner, if you pardon my phrase.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So, because our next goal is to head to Krakow, and so we probably want at least enough food to get there without having to use our personal stash of food.
Don't forget, there's also a limit on how long you can keep the standard food. It goes bad quick.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why
a week or a couple days.
Right. Well, and that's why we want to save our actual MREs and stuff, because those don't, as far as I remember in game mechanics, don't have an expiration date. So we want to try and conserve those.
Yeah. So what's domestic food and wild food both spoils after a week. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, how many man days worth of food do you wish to trade for?
Can we go to the overmap for a second? Because I just kind of want to get a sense of distance between where we are at and Krakow, which is our next destination, because that's going to kind of dictate, I think, how much food we want to grab.
Sorry, that's enough Krakow on it. You want this one, which is... So, bear with me a sec.
Yep.
So, you are... you are somewhere about here. Is that
Right.
Is that ping turning up? Yeah.
Yep, that ping is turning up. Yep. Okay, so I figure what, 2, maybe 3 days to Krakow from where we're at. Does that seem about right?
I mean, it's all. I mean, you could. Have I got the grid set on this? No, I've not got the grid set on this. Right. That is.
It's about 90 Ks, right? Each one of these grids, hexes, is 10 kilometers, right?
Yeah, 90 to 100 kilometres. And I mean, okay, it's a question then if you're driving on the road or off road for speed and.
Oh, that's true.
And whether you trust the road and stuff like that. And
what do you guys think?
Maybe get a week's worth.
Yeah, I think that might be a smart decision. Just get the maximum that we can, use before it starts going bad. And that'll give us a buffer too, if it takes us longer than expected to get to Krakow. Or if we get to Krakow and we can't secure a food deal there as quickly. Which could be a thing that ends up happening. We don't know.
So domestic food is 10 each. There's 15 of you, and you want to feed, and you want to get 7 days worth. So that would be 1,050.
Okay.
Not too much.
Yeah.
No.
Now, you can when you talk about a week's worth for 15 people, Thomas Dudka's a bit is sort of. We can probably supply that, but that's going to be using a lot of our reserves. So you're going to have to be trading
equally
something
generous,
trading something that's very valuable.
Yeah.
What were we?
So what they're talking about is a week's worth of domestic food. For
14 or 15 people. Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it's just so we don't know. So this is our at least part of my reasoning, and the others can chime in here, because we still got a ways to go to Krakow, which is, I believe, what we decided on as our kind of end destination currently.
Okay.
And we don't know exactly how long it's going to take us to get there. And we also don't know if we're going to have a food deal secured with anyone who is there with because if we just get enough for us to get there, we might not, and we might end up in a situation where we don't have enough food because we haven't been able to secure a deal with anyone there yet.
Sure. No, you make sense. I just wanted to understand where we were going with that.
Yep.
I just sort of okay. I am looking at the rules. Excuse me. I'm looking at the rules and I'm not seeing any rules for things like, well, frankly, rotting food. I mean, how quick does
under the
it's a week.
And under the domestic, so on page 131 of the player's book, under the food description, it just said domestic food, cooked meat or vegetables needs to be consumed within a week, or it will spoil.
Okay. All right, great.
And it is interesting because there's very limited rules on it, which
Right.
means they make it quite simple, but yet being short of food is one of the main. What it talks about being short of food, being short of water as a quite a main impact on your unit coolness under fire.
Well,
Unit morale.
Andy, if you want at some point or another, I can get on. You and I can get on, and I can give you a quick briefing on pre-industrial food making.
I know a bit, but if I have questions, I shall come to you. Don't worry, mate.
Well, just as a reenactor, that's one of the things I teach a lot. So anyway,
okay.
Back to the main thing here. Okay.
So,
and I understand that they're trying to simplify that rule.
Yeah. So, what I mean in terms of cost, that comes out as 1,050. What you're asking for there. What are you looking to trade? So he's shown interest in basically all the bedding, the civilian clothes, the oil lanterns and oil, the weapons. Though I'm not sure you're interested in trading weapons. Oh, and things like the backpacks.
Okay. First off, I'm completely okay with trading all 25 of the all 25 of the sleeping bags. We all have one.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't 25 there. You've got.
It said bedroll. Oh no, sleeping bag is 7. Excuse me. I apologize. That was my bad.
Well, it was. They're a value of 25 each. So
that's what it was.
You want to trade all 7 of those.
Yep.
I think we've all
with
got
all the backpacks.
Yeah, we've all got rucks, and so yeah, we can. I think we ought to save the sacks at the very minimum. They can make sandbags.
Yes.
Right.
As the engineer, I would prefer to keep the sacks that I can use to make sandbag emplacements.
What did you say about blankets and bedrolls?
I wanted to save. I wanted to keep the blankets, but the bedrolls and the sleeping bags, yeah, sure, we can sell those.
Yep.
People said they wanted to keep the tents.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd prefer to keep them.
To be honest, they're not interested in the tents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. That makes that simpler, I guess.
Why are we worried about keeping the blankets when we already have sleeping bags?
Because you can't use 2 sleeping bags together, but you can use a sleeping bag and a blanket.
Yeah.
The idea is that at some point or another, we're going to be out in weather, and blankets cover you up. When you're actually having to run around and whatnot, you can throw a blanket under your poncho with a pin or a toggle or something, and use that to keep you warm. Whereas it's kind of difficult to wear a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to wear either at the moment. But the point is, though, we've got plenty of time between now and cold weather, and we need food now.
We also have a bunch of stuff. Actually, I need to look through Sunday's Humvee, because Sunday had a ton of trade goods from their early scavenge roll.
So that is the M998. So
yes.
Is that actually in the vehicle, or is it?
Don't know. Or is it? Yeah, is it on his sheet?
On So Sunday. Where is it going?
I know he has a chandelier.
Yeah. So
Lord.
Let me have a look and see what Sunday's got.
Just when we got tents that are worthy of putting chandeliers in.
So
That might be overstating the case.
Yeah.
So he has. He got some random stuff. A chandelier, an axe, a lawnmower, an electric toothbrush, a copy of Twilight 2000 First Edition, some instant coffee, an electric guitar, a broken TV, a lady's hat, some broken walkie-talkies, a doll, and 5 movie DVDs.
I'll murder the man who decides we want to give up the coffee.
Yeah, no, we keep the coffee.
Yeah, we
When
can
did you
trade.
start? When did you start getting DVDs? Wouldn't those be videos in this time?
No, DVDs started coming out around the early 2000s at least. I think
Early mid 90s actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
early.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, DVDs, and well, music on CDs. Music on CDs was late '80s, early '90s, and so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
yeah.
So, is there any of that stuff you want to trade?
All of it,
Right. Well. Okay.
except for the coffee.
Right.
I'm just not seeing any reason for us to be lugging around a lawnmower.
Right.
Well, you never know. Wherever we end up setting up our base, maybe
okay.
we want to keep the parade ground fresh.
I'm not looking to landscape at this point. If I'm gonna landscape something,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a bunker.
Yeah, no, the lawnmower is definitely on the table for things we can get rid of. I
Right.
think coffee is probably the only thing we want to keep out of all of that.
Well,
We should probably keep the walkie-talkies and try to repair them if we can.
Yeah, that's actually true. Those could be useful too.
Good. The dog tax has been paid.
right. So, the lawnmower.
What's he doing?
He rolled this randomly on the.
I know. It's one of the ridiculous things. It's just
He's like I said, he's that guy where you got everyone else is all clustered around in their normal barracks tents or whatever, and their half tents, and he's got a full pavilion tent with a chandelier and rugs and
clamping in the infantry.
yeah,
Bizarrely-
and he's hired a private to mow the lawn outside of his tent.
Jesus Christ.
Bizarrely, they are actually interested in the chandelier and the lawnmower.
I mean, I can actually understand the chandelier for the hotel in
Well,
particular.
Stanislaw will give you 2 rounds of beers each in exchange for the chandelier.
Including so all 15 of us.
Yep. Well, 14 because Sunday's in
Really. Feeding somebody a beer with a sucking chest wound is probably not a good idea. Yeah, that's.
Nah, are you kidding? He just needs a beer and a Panadol, and he's good.
That's right. Rub some dirt on it.
So, do you want to trade the chandelier for some beer?
I mean, I'm okay with that trade if you guys are.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Right.
Sure.
Okay. And the lawnmower, they'll give you 30 for that. Okay.
Great.
So, did you want to sell any of the backpacks?
Yeah, we said that
Yeah.
we were fine with selling the backpacks,
Yeah.
buying both military and civilian.
And the satchels as well, I assume, in that case as well.
The satchels and the backpacks, but not the sacks.
Yeah,
The actual
okay.
sacks we'll keep.
You are currently currently up to 910. You need another 140. Oh, do you want to sell all the civilian clothes?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they will give you.
I'm assuming that includes things like the civilian raincoat.
No, that's
Et cetera.
that's separate.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Or in this calculation it is.
Personally, I just don't see myself needing a yellow raincoat.
You're actually up to. Well, give me your. Can you give me a negotiation roll?
Certainly.
Now.
Absolutely. Can you remind me how to add the trader
Now, so what
bonus?
Okay, the trader bonus is a +1 modifier. Plus one die.
It's a die bump, so it's 2 A's.
Yeah, so yes, it becomes 2 A's. Now, hang on a sec.
Mm-hmm.
I have not done a contested roll yet. Do
Okay.
I roll against it and it's the most successes, or does
See, this is one of the
How
few
many-
things I actually don't know because my solo campaigns have not reached a point of negotiations. They are
Right.
still in the points of violence.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in trade negotiations, both players, depending on what their attributes are, their skills, both players roll, or the NPC and the player
Yeah.
rolls, and whoever comes up with the most successes is
It's
either
successful.
winner or
Okay, so I got some dice out here. Right. Roll me your two.
Right. Let me see. I'm rolling a manipulation. Whoops. Hold on. Okay. I thought it would.
So that is two
Okay.
successes.
Well, the thing about it is that I have not.
You needed to
I hit
modify
the,
that.
I hit the manipulation button, but I didn't. I didn't have a chance to bump it.
Okay. So do you want to go with that, or do you want to re-roll it?
I want to re-roll it because I want to
Okay,
figure out
so-
how to use the mechanic.
Okay, so what you need to do is either temporarily raise whichever one is at a B to an A and then move it back,
Okay. That
or
works.
if you just go to the bottom of the underneath the specialities, there's a die 1, die 2. Set both of them at D12 and roll that, whichever you prefer.
Okay, I'll just bump it temporarily and try it again. Then if I hit manipulation, it will roll both
Should
dice.
do, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So same result.
Got
Okay.
the same thing.
He also gets 2, so you end up
Okay.
with a fair trade. So
Okay.
um,
So yeah, so at this point everybody's satisfied.
yeah. So
As the clans say in BattleTech, bargained and done.
Oh, good lord.
right. So you trade the various things we've talked about, and you end up with some sacks of food,
Okay.
and also to sort of balance it out, you actually end up with a bottle of vodka as well.
Hey, that will go very well with the other 3 bottles of vodka we've got in our stash that we haven't told anybody, but we haven't told these guys about.
Yep. So you can tell that this vodka is better than the stuff that you.
Oh yeah,
do.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
The other stuff is homemade. Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, the other stuff is like Kazakh, like engineers vodka.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's.
Yep.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. It's a bunch of Russian. It's a bunch of Russian Kazakhs. I wouldn't be surprised if the stuff wasn't cut with windshield wiper fluid.
Yeah, or paint thinner, coolant.
I mean, mostly it's Molotov cocktail fuel, but never mind.
I mean, hey, we can. I think you can use it to make Molotov cocktails.
Yeah, yeah. You need a little. You need gasoline and alcohol.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
I think that will get us through. That will get us through tonight, at least.
What the vodka?
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Right. So
I just arrived in town. Let me go ahead and get blue blind paralytic drunk,
Well,
so
so-
I can't watch you steal my stuff.
you get given a couple of beers each. Stanislav seems delighted with his chandelier and starts talking about something that it actually will look really nice in his hotel and so on. He's really pleased with that. And more and more of the locals start coming in. No one's getting outrageously drunk, but there's a lot of some of the bit that there definitely seems to be a watered beer that quite a number of the locals are drinking, and they're drinking quite large quantities because that way they're what they used in the Middle Ages they used to call small beer. So the idea being it's quite low alcohol, but it's definitely clean, definitely safe to drink, and they're almost sort of rehydrating through drinking low alcoholic beer. And
it kills most of the bugs in the well water.
yeah, and
That is an extraordinary roommate you have, my friend, Mike. Your roommate is behind you wearing a turban.
My son.
It's okay. And he waves hello. Wave back.
right, and then okay, and it doesn't sound like you lot are getting outrageously drunk. People swap over on the sentry duty on the vehicles to get their drinks, and you'll serve some food. It's a fairly simple stew with. There is a little bit of meat in it, but it's mostly sort of vegetable stew with a little bit of meat. It tastes quite nice, and there's what the best bit actually is some bread that's it's been baked that morning, but there's clearly some fairly fresh bread.
Are you kidding? Beats a crap out of MRE crackers.
Yeah, and you have. So there's a couple of guys playing guitars. It all seems quite. It's quite a weird atmosphere because it's like these people are almost ignoring the war, and ignoring the collapse of society. They've adapted to it, and it seems you notice that other people that come in, they're being given beer. They're not being charged for it. It seems to be almost like a communal. It's like a big commune. Don't
we have an electric guitar?
Yep.
I believe we traded that.
No, you haven't traded that. So,
why did somebody try to trade it to one of the guitar players?
There you go.
So,
do you want to play some sick riffs?
Well, at the present moment, actually, let's just see about this. Right, cars.
Well, most places electric guitar won't do any good, but they got electricity here, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Great fan of Motley Crue.
Well, I was listening to Kickstart My Heart through the entirety of that ambush that started the whole series, so.
Right. Right. Mike, as you came up with this idea, can you just from the dice roller, could you just roll me a percentage dice, please?
By the way, I've got my own suspicions about this town, but because we are still in public, I haven't been, I'll talk to you guys later about it.
Okay. You get quite lucky. You mentioned Mac brings up the whole subject of an electric guitar and chats to one of the guitar or the two guitar players, and between them they are definitely interested, and they are certainly interested in trading for it, and and one of them says I could trade you a pistol for that. What does Mac think of that when he offers you a pistol?
Any chance that you have a hunting rifle?
Not that I couldn't trade that. I could trade you a pistol, a Czech pistol. Do you want to see it?
Sure. Let me take a look at it.
He leaves his friend playing. One's off. He comes back in about 10 minutes, and produces. Do you know what a CZ-75 semi-auto pistol is? It's a Czech pistol that actually fires 9mm Parabellum.
Oh, okay. I thought it would be 9mm Makarov.
No.
No, I don't know what it is personally, but my character.
CZ-75s are actually pretty nice.
They are. They are. They're not quite a Browning high power, but they're definitely a step up from the standard run of the mill Soviet block pistol.
That's a wiki link to it.
I'll take it apart, make sure everything's in good shape, clean, functional.
Okay, you don't need to make a dice roll for that. He's got only 2 clips for it, and so he can give you 2 loaded clips there. They're they're I need to check on that. I think they're 10 round. Yeah, 10 round clips.
Well, what it comes down to is you're trading something you can't use for something you can.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with it as long as the weapon's in good shape. I'll check the firing pin and the springs, make sure everything's good, and put it back together.
Yeah, it could do with a good clean, but besides that,
Well, my character always thinks that. So
right. So
sure, I'll make the trade with you.
Yeah. Okay. He seems pleased on that, and
let's build our armory.
And I'll give it to Nick Kowalski. Sorry. Here you go. Trade the guitar for a pistol for you.
Well, now I get to play Soviet officer and just use a handgun instead of a rifle. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. And yeah, I guess I'll. Did he give you a holster with the gun?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
I tuck it into like one of my utility pouches on my LBE gear.
So it's got 2. I think they're 10 round clips. I need to double check that. But yeah, 2 10 round clips, fully loaded. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And he seems quite pleased with the guitar. And while Mac was inspecting the pistol and taking it to pieces and so on, they were doing exactly the same with the guitar.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
They clearly know what they're doing with that. Right. Now.
And you're right on the magazine. It says the detachable box 10 to 26 rounds, depending on the version and caliber. So standard would be 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
By the time you've all eaten and so on, and then suddenly at about approaching 9 o'clock, boom! All the lights go out, and it's dark by now, and there's lots of sudden complaints from all the locals, and possibly I don't know if you guys are worried by all the lights going out, but there's still a bit of moonlight coming in through windows and so on, and several people get up and leave the bar and head over to the building marked on there as Steam House. And you can hear the distinct lack of the engine running. The engine's running. So
and they're all acting like it shouldn't be happening like this.
Exactly. And
I'm gonna grab my rifle and head upstairs to a window.
Okay. Okay. your fears prove to be possibly wise but unwarranted. It seems simply that the engine has broken down, and a number of oil lamps are lit, and people start investigating. I think there's a whole load of discussions and quite not arguments but earnest concerned discussions start going on, and clearly there's a problem with the steam, the power generation, and eventually it results in the man you rescued, Gregor's him, just sort of coming out and waving no to everyone, and it becomes fairly apparent that there's no more power this evening. Okay,
Not a surprise.
I'm gonna head back over to our vehicles and just check on the guys that we have watching them. Make sure they're doing all right and all that kind of stuff, and
Well,
letting them know why the lights all went out.
Oh,
okay, and then you gather from some of the locals that this happens occasionally, and there appears to be some sort of problem with the engine, and essentially the bits they recovered recently, they again recently have yet to be installed, and that's what the plan is for tomorrow. And at that point, most of the village starts going to sleep, and Stan appears with an oil lamp, and we'll show each of you to where your rooms are if you wish.
okay. Let's make sure that we have enough people to put a couple of people on our vehicles, and still everybody get a decent night's sleep. I mean, basically it's watch shifts of an hour.
Yeah.
It just basically a watch list of an hour. So, but it shouldn't be any problem.
Yeah. So,
but it also gives everybody a chance to sleep in a bed.
yeah. So everyone's had, so the night passes uneventfully. Everyone gets a decent amount of sleep in a bed. Everyone had a good wash the previous day. Everyone's had some hot food. So one of the effects of that is
Drop our stress point.
yes, your stress point goes definitely, yes. And where are we? Your where is it? It's on.
If you're looking for the unit morale, it's under combat tab.
Right, your unit morale actually goes up a notch from, I think it's at B, so it goes to A.
Awesome.
Yep. So
Yeah.
please all move your unit morale up to A, because you're all fed, you're warm, you're rested. It's
And we're safe.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
as safe as these people seem to think they are.
Yeah.
Okay. And the night passes uneventfully. Apart from one thing. Kowalski, in the morning, where is she gone? This lady comes to find you. And she explains that well, she starts in broken English, and when she discovers you speak Polish, she sticks to Polish. She explains that she's the village doctor.
Yep.
And
the mother of the savior. She looks like Terminator's mom to me.
Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
I was wondering who the actress was, but
I don't think I've used that photo, but
She looks similar. I don't think it's the same actress though.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I apologise. I looped photos from all over the place.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, you're fine. I was just
It's
making a
fine.
joke anyway.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Right.
Yeah.
But she apologises to Kowalski and says, I'm very sorry, but your man Sunday, I think, was killed, passed away during the night.
Damn. All right. Thanks for letting me know, Doc.
We tried, but there wasn't really much we could do.
We gonna bury him?
If you speak to Father Joseph,
Yeah.
Have we met him yet?
I think the people that have met him were Jimmy and Mac when they went wandering round.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Wasn't he one of the ones we saved? I thought. No.
So again?
No.
Okay.
No, he wasn't
Yeah.
one of the ones we saved.
We saved Gregor and the soldier.
Gotcha. The girl. Gotcha.
And then you also saved this guy, who's a former
yeah,
Polish
Jakob.
army soldier. He's not from the village,
Yeah.
but you've sort of left him to his own devices, and he has been chatting to the leader Carolina. He's technically a former Polish army soldier, but he's not actually much of a soldier, and but he's used to hard work, and he's asked about whether he can earn his keep and stay, and they seem to be quite happy for him to stay and join.
If he's not much of a soldier, he can still shoot a gun pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean he
Compared to the people that haven't had any training.
He said basic training. Yeah.
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 Well, though you've not seen much on it. I mean, you apart from a couple of sentries at the main at that sentry post on the right hand side of the map, the only just to remind you, the only person who did follow Jimmy and Mac around for a while was this guy who seems to be in charge of the village militia. There is actually a village militia, but most of it seems to be it's clearly almost entirely a part-time militia. Yeah. And he's the only person you've seen wandering around routinely carrying a long arm. Yeah. There's some people over the sentry, the sentry post. They're armed, and you just to remind you, when you drove into the village, you saw it. You passed a couple of sentries sort of on the way up, but you've not really seen much really in the sign of much else inside of weaponry. Okay.
When we get together privately, I'm kind of wondering about.
Okay, this
village.
Sorry. This apologies. This conversation can certainly have already taken place. This can take place during the evening night. So by all means, have that conversation.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or is there something? Is this just me, or are we? Or does this village come across as a little weird to you?
I also think it's strange. It's part of
That's
why.
what I was trying to get at the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean just that it is so untouched by the war, and they seem to be very determined to stay that way, which is fine. I understand. I mean, if I could sit out a war, I would too. But
Yeah. I agree. I think things here are a little strange, which is part of why I think we need to, make our trades and start heading to Krakow. Because I have a theory, and I'll pose this, that part of the reason they're so untouched is they have a deal with someone in the area
I would guess, yeah.
So and judging by the major players who are in the area currently, I would hazard to guess that they've got a deal going with one of the larger Soviet remnant groups in the area, or one of the probably some form of military unit. Because if it was Marauders, it's more likely that the Marauders would have had them more cowed and in fear than they are right now.
Yeah. Well, if it was Marauders, they'd already be on us.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I think they have a connection to some larger military unit in the area that they don't want to talk about.
Right. No,
anyway.
That was my sense of it, but yeah, we definitely don't want to stay here much longer than we absolutely have to.
Yeah. All right.
I'm trying to locate this place on the travel map and get a sense of where it is in relation to Krakow.
So just let me shift you across to this map. Yeah.
Okay.
You are somewhere roughly about here. Somewhere in these hills.
Not so bad.
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
So we reckon it's about 90, 100 kilometres as the crow flies to Krakow. But that might be a bit of a longer journey when you come to actually drive it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So we have. So let me see. Let's calculate how much time we have here. We have. Well, first we need to get a hold of the father and get Sonny buried.
Yeah, and I would like to perhaps handle that as Sunday's nominal commanding officer.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of my duty.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not trying to pick up on the work or anything. I'm trying to sort out exactly what we have to do. We have to get the pintle mount installed on the we have to get the pintle mount installed on the GAZ or on the UAZ, excuse me. Which means probably helping them get the steam engine going again.
Well, I think we already did, because that was what Dro was ostensibly working on.
I'm just going to make a dice roll for him.
Yep.
Okay.
Because us giving them the Chevy was what paid for that.
Yeah.
Well, no. What I mean is, if I'm just speaking time wise.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
So Dro managed to do that.
Yeah, he did.
A pintle mount is. I am no mechanic, but cutting a pintle mount off one vehicle and welding it onto a new one doesn't sound like a vast amount of work to me.
No, what it is it's basically a lot of drilling while you drill. It's a lot of drilling while you drill a hole through the frame of the vehicle, because you can't just put a pintle mount on the body work. It actually has to be mounted to the frame of the vehicle.
Yeah. So, Dro actually managed to achieve that last night. So that is actually
night?
Yeah. Well, no, because he while you lot were negotiating and doing things, he was working because that's when the machine shop had power. So that's
fair enough.
So he was doing it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And he got 2 successes, so I'm going to say that's done.
Wow, right on. That's getting it done.
Yep. Okay. So that's that. Right.
That's the fun thing about Twilight, is that the mechanic is usually one of the most valuable players in the team.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Right. So, Father Joseph,
Yep.
comes to find you.
So, yeah. Okay. Because I was actually gonna go to the church anyway at some point. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, we have some stuff that he might be interested in.
So
Well, because I was gonna go to the church anyway before any of this, because I'm a combat engineer and Saint Barbara is the patron saint of combat
Yes.
engineers.
we found this weird coincidence last week.
So I was
Last
gonna
time.
go pay my respects.
Saint Barbara is the patron saint of spontaneous combustion.
Yep. And so
And-
I was,
So that morning, shortly after you're told about Sunday, you can wander over to the church.
Yep.
Is anyone else going with Kowalski?
Yeah, I'll go with him. I've also got to put some time in on working on my rifle, but yeah, I'll go with him.
Or do you want to do that instead?
You know,
Well, we have
I
13
really,
NPCs. Why don't we send some of them?
yeah, okay, yeah. But on the other hand, I do want to be there for the ceremony.
Oh yeah. I'm not going to say. Just some initial conversation.
We all should be.
Yeah, right. So, if Cymbalski's spending time on his weapon, give me another tech roll, please,
All right, Hyde.
and that will be you busy for the morning shift.
Yeah.
Okay, so that puts it back to. It doesn't go above 5, but that puts it back to
No, but
5. Yep. Okay.
I'll be spending the same time frame cleaning my weapons as well, just tearing them down and cleaning them up,
Okay. Yep. Yep. Certainly.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah.
perfect sense.
including that AK that they gave me to put on my bike for hunting with.
for hunting with.
Sorry, an AK.
AKM.
You mean an SKS?
Oh no, sorry, I'm mixing something up. My bad. Never mind.
Yeah.
Ignore me.
You mean the SKS?
No, I mixed that up. Something in my head with the different game.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. No
Okay.
problem. No problem.
I was gonna be like, wait, we had another AK?
What?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, this one I got M21. I'm playing a sniper in another game that's got a Barrett, and
Okay.
he's not using the Barrett to hunt with.
Yeah.
It might be.
I'd like to rip this deer in half right now.
It's like
Right. Okay. So you
the boar hog just exploded.
you wander
Yeah,
over
so-
to the
hmm
you wander
Sorry
over
about
to the church
Yep, the Church of St.
Um,
Barbara. Yep.
and meet Father
Roger.
Yosef.
Joseph. That's
Yep.
it. God.
Yep,
Yeah.
Father Yosef.
Are you looking for rabbit jam? There won't be much.
Oh, here's someone in the background somewhere. Right. Father Joseph, he already appears to know about the death of one of your the death of Sunday. So he starts by saying in reasonably good English, actually. I'm sorry for your loss, my son. I understand that one of your men passed away over the night.
Indeed, Father. And I would like to perhaps set up a service for him and perhaps negotiate somewhere to bury him in the area.
Well,
Give him a proper burial.
we can certainly bury him in the graveyard. And I mean, it's just behind the church.
hmm
And probably actually there's not much space, and probably across the other side of the river as well. That's the stream. We can certainly find space for him. It is so many tragic losses of life. Everyone gets a bit used to it, but I can certainly perform a service for you. Do you know if he was Catholic?
Do I know if he was Catholic?
It's saying his dog tags.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
would
those-
say in his dog tags. Let's
I
go.
think-
All right, let's go contact our the Sunday's player. Hey, was Sunday Catholic?
I think he was Latino. The odds on him being Catholic are pretty good. And beyond that, you know what? I think we're at the. It's not. It may not necessarily be my church, but it's the church I've got.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. But yeah, the odds are pretty good if you, of him being.
I think
Catholic.
we could say yes on that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I will. We'll do it this afternoon if that is okay with you.
That sounds perfect, Father. Thank you.
Okay.
And then I'll go pray a bit because my character in this campaign is Catholic, and I'll also put like a couple like cigarettes and like one of the like 38 caliber rounds that we picked up in the offering plate.
You haven't got any 38 caliber.
Because I know we have a 38 caliber revolver in the loot table from the list.
But I had no ammo.
Okay.
No ammo with it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Right.
So
okay.
knock off a couple of cigarettes. There are some 5.45 millimeter rounds.
Sure,
And we have some 9mm Makarov as well. Well, no, I take that back. One of the players took the Makarov.
Yeah.
I'll put one of the 5.45 rounds in there.
Okay. Knock off the cigarettes. Yeah, I've knocked that off. Okay. That's wrong one. Okay. He sort of potters around in the background initially, but when he observes that you're clearly Catholic, you clearly know what you're doing, he leaves you to it. It's quite trusting to leave you alone. Mm-hmm. There are a couple other people come in and appear to say some prayers, but don't move to engage you.
Yep. And once I've prayed a little bit and made my offering, I'll get up and leave and let everyone else know when the service is happening.
Mm-hmm. One thing I forgot to mention is shortly after first light, lots of the villagers are awake and going down the mine to work. So it's and it looks like a slice of home. No one's been bullied into it. No one's been chased into it. People seem to be sort of quite pleased to be going into work. And you notice that that Polish soldier who was with you is with them. Someone's kitted him out with clearly some sort of clothes that will get absolutely filthy dirty, and but some more appropriate
overalls or bib overalls or a canvas work suit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have and they've all disappeared off. Okay. Kowalski wanders round and brings her up to speed. Yep, certainly. About the timing of it. What do you? Is there anything? There's basically a shift now where no one's, apart from Cymbalski cleaning his weapon and doing routine maintenance.
Do we have time to spend XP?
Yes, you can spend XP. Yes. So,
okay.
Has anyone?
Because we're coming up on your stop time in about 20 minutes. So if we're gonna do mechanics and whatnot, that seems like a logical one.
Does anyone have any questions about spending XP?
I'm looking it up.
You need 5, right?
It's on page 40.
Yep.
5
Yeah.
5 to get a D, 10 to go D to C, 15 C to B, and 20.
And you have to buy them in those increments. Do I have that right?
Yes.
You have to buy that, meaning that you can't just immediately spend a bunch of XP and jack a skill to A. You actually have to spend XP to get to D, gain more XP, spend more XP to get to C, and so forth. That you actually have to go through a learning process.
Yeah, you can only go through one increase, and that is the number of XP to go to the next level. So
Right.
to buy a new skill up to C would take time between 2 expenditures of XP and a total of 15 XP. Jimmy and Mac, have you got enough yet to buy?
No.
No.
No, we only got 4. In order to raise that skill, you had to successfully use it as well, correct?
No,
You can just inadvertently just raise whatever you want.
Sorry, I was thinking wrong. I was thinking about special.
Yeah, according to the rules, that is, yeah.
You have to use it successfully. To learn a specialty, somebody has to teach you. They have to make a successful
Which means
persuasion roll to teach you.
Which means that somebody also has to have. Okay, yeah.
You must have used the skill and succeeded at least once. If you want to learn a skill you don't have, then yeah.
There we go.
Or sorry, if you haven't succeeded, you can have a teacher who's got has got the skill at a higher level than you. So even if you haven't made a skill well successfully, as long as there's a teacher, you're fine. And also some skills I would let you take at level D, based on things that I think you should probably no. So for example, if you don't have mobility yet, I would let you take mobility without someone instructing.
One of those always available skills, like during skill generation or during character generation.
Yeah. Kowalski and Cymbalski buying any skills?
I am.
What are you buying?
I am putting 5 points and raising my recon to D, because in my last firefight I was stupid, insanely lucky, sneaking around. And it just sort of seems to me like that would be the role-playing choice.
Yep. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah. And I would like to actually spend some EXP to get my manipulation up to D.
Okay.
Or I guess persuasion is what it's actually called. This character sheet's a little out.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah. I need to go and raise that with the guy again about trying to get the character sheet updated. Okay. Yep, that's fine.
Kowalski?
Yes.
Could I do you have any ranks in command?
I do. Yeah, I have C in command. Yep.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. All right then. It just seemed like,
yeah,
it was something you were doing a lot of, and so I was going to suggest.
Mm-hmm. When I found out that I was going to end up that I had rank over that, before we had started the first session, I made sure that I had at least some command ability.
Nope. Good call.
Okay. Right.
Can I? Speaking of, can I go ahead and spend another 5 points and raise mobility?
So if you've got enough points, yes, you can raise mobility as well.
Yeah, I had 10 points, and I'm spending 5 to open recon at D, and I want to open mobility at D.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't be able to raise 2 skills at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well, especially when they're related like that.
Yeah. Okay. So. All right. So, is there anything else anyone wants to do in that morning shift? Everyone is about as clean as you'd like to get. You could, for the novelty factor, go and have use the bathhouse, the wash house again if you wish. Or
Absolutely. Well,
anything.
Well, no, I'm doing maintenance on my weapon equipment.
Okay. So
once I get my weapon cleared up, as far as it all goes, I'm going to grab a few of the NPCs and go and dig go and dig Sunday's grave.
Okay, certainly.
It just seems like it'd be kind of unfair to have us have the villagers do it.
Actually, you find Father Joseph has already started it, but is very grateful for the help in taking it over.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
He was one of ours.
Yep.
For this shift, I guess after I'm done talking to the father and letting everyone know the time, I guess what I'll do is I'm going to get on the radios and kind of scan the frequencies again.
Right. Give me a now. That's in the. Where is that? Yeah, you just have to. It's no skill roll. You just have to make a spend a shift monitoring the radio. Right. Unfortunately, everything's quiet. You hear nothing but static.
Fair enough.
Okay. Right. But about lunchtime, approaching midday, you've seen there are a whole team of men and women working in the steam house, shifting bits of machinery around, trying to sort out why it broke down. There are some truly wonderful smells coming from the bakery. And then at about late morning, about lunchtime, about midday. So Cybulski is back with the others from digging the grave. You've done that. Actually, sorry, no, you did your weapon maintenance. So no, you're still over there digging the grave. Apologies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the afternoon shift is when I'm digging the grave.
Yeah. Okay. You hear the sound of vehicles approaching, and because there's nothing else, no other real noise in the village, and driving up the road, you spot a small convoy of 4 vehicles, 3 trucks led by an old Toyota Hilux. This is essentially a technical. It's got a pintle mount with a PK machine gun mounted on it. Comes driving up. They get waved through by the sentry, and actually turn left as they get past the sentries and go and park up down in what you've gathered from the locals is called the Merchant's Field. And there is it's a convoy of merchants that's arrived. And as you're peering over them, you start to recognize some faces. It's actually the same group of merchants that you met when you were with that what was his name? Kamarinsky's commandos. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If you remember the background. So Jimmy and Mac, I'm not sure if you've read that bit of the initial what the unit was doing, but you've met.
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah, you've met these guys as well. So let me share. Okay, so that did that handout come up?
Yep.
It did.
This is not all of them. There's actually about another. It would be another 2. There's another 5. There's 9 in total. Okay, and it's basically a family operation. Peter is the father, and it's his 3 sons, and then several other men in their employ. And you know that they are merchants from Krakow. All of them, as Polish men, have done their sort of national conscripted national service. But Jacek actually was a professional soldier, so he's very much in charge of all the security. And Peter and Andres tend to lead all the negotiations, and Tadeusz is the main mechanic. And then there's several other men, and they're armed with a mix of AKs, hunting rifles, even a pump action shotgun as well. And you met and traded with them before, so you know Cymbalski had done some trading before.
Okay.
When you were with the Cavalry Commandos. That's this is who you traded with.
Okay. All right. I'm at the end of my shift of digging the grave and whatnot. I will, Nastrovi, how are you? And to a certain extent, gosh, I'm glad to see you. It will be awfully nice to have a guide into Krakow. Krakow, rather. Excuse me.
They're quite surprised to see you, frankly. But they wave and they wave and you know that the both Jacek and Andres speak some English from previous conversations, and Andres wanders over to you as a group and says, "I'm surprised to see you here. How come you ended up here?"
Well, you heard about what happened at Kalitz a few days ago. We've been on the run since.
What happened at Kalitz?
Well, we ran into the Russians. They rolled right over our division, and we were off trying to supply Comiskey, and we were on our way back. And we were on our way back to our division, and the Russians rolled right over them, took the headquarters and everything.
Okay.
So yeah, we're essentially on the run. I can't put it any plainer, or you could. I suppose I could put some time into making a very nice. Oh no, we've suffered a little bit of a retrograde movement, but no, our division was destroyed, and our commander released us to try and survive on our own.
And are you heading home?
We're heading to Krakow right now.
We're on our way to Krakow. But
Krakow is a good city. he looks, he sort of glances round and says, come and talk with me over by the trucks.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'll also go over to the trucks. with
Mac
them.
and Jimmy going as well?
I'll bring them over.
No.
Sure.
Oh, sure. I guess. All right.
And they all seem quite relaxed. They don't appear to be overly concerned about meeting a bunch Americans here. They were friendly before. You know from previous interactions that they just regard themselves as independent and they're happy to trade with whoever.
Mm-hmm.
But Andres sort of leads you back and says, the security of Krakow is real security. Here it's a bit. It appears to be secure, but these people, we come, we trade. Every time we come back, we wonder if they're still going to be here, or whether someone will have wiped them out. They, I don't know if they've realised yet, but the increased number of Soviet troops around may have disrupted their protectors.
Hmm.
And
That's it. Who are their protectors? Were they in with a marauder gang or something?
so wrong map.
It's complicated.
So there is a warlord. A group. Well, I suppose warlord is the right phrase.
Mhm.
So there's a town about 10 kilometres southeast. Are you on the area map now?
KS.
Yeah.
KS.
Are we looking at Skorko or Westepi?
Hang on a sec.
Kyle Shea.
Malgras.
Okay.
In the
Oh,
bottom right
Malaga.
corner.
Okay. All right.
Malagras, I think that's how you
Okay.
pronounce it. There's a band of former, well, they're not Russians, but former Soviet soldiers living there, and they provide protection for a number of the villages in the area.
Okay, so kind of like one of the American cantonments in many ways.
Yes, and they provide protection. They do deals and get a fair trade. I wouldn't describe them as generous, but they're certainly not harsh.
Okay.
They're and they've been. We've traded with them a number of times. And,
Okay.
They're at this point, Jacek comes over and joins the conversation. Says, they're Ukrainians. They're from the, from what I can gather, the 9th Tank Division. About last summer, maybe a little later. It certainly stopped following orders last summer, and then gradually broke into various groups. And this is one of the larger and nicer groups. It's about 60 or 70, maybe 80 of them. I'm not entirely sure of their numbers.
So they haven't completely become animals then.
No, they're very definitely they've been very definitely amassing supplies before they're going to attempt to head back to the Ukraine. But they've stopped following Soviet High Command orders, and they're doing their own thing, and they've realised that it's better that they're going to get more in the long term by the sort of waiting out the winter, building up the supplies, and then starting to head home.
Well, I can tell you right now that what we understand happened at Kalitz is that the American 5th Infantry Division got hit with what looks to be an entire tank army. All right, it got hit with I mean, these guys were all mechanized, from what I understand. That's what the radio call said. We escaped an ambush that had multiple BMPs and BTRs and still had anti-tank missiles. So somebody was expending the last of their really good ordnance, and so there are major Soviet forces in the area to the northwest, and they're close.
Andres said, it sounds like heading to Krakow might be a wise move for you then.
You know, we thought that. And we were kind of wondering, would you be willing to get us to Krakow?
If you want to travel together, certainly you can come with us to Krakow, but I can only... Do you understand how Krakow works?
No.
So, Krakow has declared itself a free city. And there's an entire Polish unit has ceased following orders from either side, and has taken over as the protectors of Krakow.
I'd heard something about Krakow becoming independent.
Well, Krakow now is a very... If you have the means to support yourself, Krakow is a great place to live now, in these days. But if you don't have the means to support yourself, Krakow is a place where you can go and get exploited. Wow. So there's a central walled part of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be a citizen to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to buy citizenship. It'll cost you. And so those that the haves have bought themselves citizenship and can get into the central part where it's pretty safe. There's electricity. I mean, we will be trading some coal with the people here and taking that back, and there's a lot of demand for coal. There's quite a lot of trade up and down the Vistula River, and Krakow is it's not growing rich, but it's surviving better than a lot of other places on that. And there is but if you can't afford to get in, then you'll join the probably thousands of people trying to scavenge to live in the outer parts of Krakow, outside of the outside of the city walls, these new city walls, or the old city walls that are being rebuilt. There are, if you're lucky, then the Krakow government will give you a job working on one of their farms or something like that, and it's hard back-breaking work, but at least you get fed. And they've got some of those scattered in villages around the city and so on. If you're if you don't get picked for that, then every day they'll pick some people to do rubble clearance or wall building or things like that around the city, as they steadily start to improve and increase the usable parts of the city. And that you'll get fed a meal for a full day's work, and that's the way it works. And if you're lucky, you get work, but you don't get it every day. And it's they call them robotniki.
Yeah, the robots.
Yeah, that's where that word comes from.
Yeah,
and it's a hard life, but it's at least you're living, and at least you're
not getting shot at.
You still might get. No one wastes bullets, but there's a lot of there's various gangs in there. There's fights between them, and you run the risk as you approach the city of being attacked by people who've got to a point where they'll take any risk to try and steal something of value off you, or some food or something. And there are occasionally, when we drive back into the city, it's not necessarily the most dangerous part, but we normally have to fire off a few rounds to just show that we're not prepared to let anyone come too close to us and rob us. And then, I mean, there are good people in the city. There are the church is good about distributing food to the starving outside the city walls, but there's a lot of, it's a bleak outlook for people who are there with nothing.
Well, and we definitely have more than nothing, but that can get spent pretty quick.
I mean,
we have vehicles.
Yeah.
We have vehicles to get there. We have weapons and ammunition. We have, we're in a decent level of supply right now. But on the other hand, we have no source of more supplies other than, we're not going to turn into marauders or anything like that. We're not bandits, but
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, but I've heard that said before.
Absolutely, and we've watched the Polish army disintegrate like that. So it's not as if I'm unaware of what's happening. But still, the best. I can tell you that trying to go west, we're fully blocked. It's nothing but Zerwony, red country between here and Rokla. So so getting these Americans back, these Americans say they want to go home, and getting these guys some method of getting home doesn't look like it's going to be anytime soon.
Well, Krakow is a good place to stay, and once you can get into the centre part of the city, and you've kept something to keep yourself functional, operational, then maybe you can find some work.
Yeah.
There's always there's always people looking to hire mercenaries. Whether you want the work is up to you, but there's always people looking to hire mercenaries.
Well, if you're willing to let us convoy with you, we could certainly use the help getting there. At the very minimum, more people means fewer attacks.
True.
And we've always treated you fairly.
Yeah.
Go
Go on.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
Go
on.
ahead. Okay, because I was gonna ask the usual question, which is, I wanted to know about some people. If you know Piotr or Gregor Kowalski's families, they're in the Krakow area, and some of them are in the Krakow area, and I was wondering if you perhaps
Be right back.
knew anything of them.
Sorry, bear with me a sec.
By the way, when I get done with this, I will probably be able to people out and crash.
He needs to learn to mute. He says Kowalski is a common name, but you run through the various names on your list.
Yep. Incidentally, it's actually very funny because I just got updated on my ancestry DNA thing, and a large portion of my mother's side of the family, which is the Polish side of the family, did actually come from the areas that Kowalski's family comes from. I know that wasn't intentional on either of our parts because I didn't know that, and you didn't know that, but that's actually just a remarkable coincidence.
Life is weird like that.
Yep.
Right. When you're going through the various names and so on, I think I know a man called Pavel Kowalski. So have you got the list there? Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, I've got the list. Yep.
Yeah. There's a he sort of repairs things. It could be. I mean, Kowalski is a common name.
Right.
You need to understand that.
Understood.
And but a Pavel Kowalski who's about 45. There is a Pavel Kowalski of about 45 in Krakow, and he works sometimes. He has a stall sometimes repairing things on the main square. Whether it's the right one, I can't tell you.
Well, I guess we'll find out when we get to Krakow.
Well, we're sure as hell not heading west anytime soon.
Yes.
No, we are not.
Okay. I'm close to finish time, so should we just do a little bit of a finish off there? Well, I shall say goodbye to anyone who's watching this and then stop the recording. And there will be another episode in 2 weeks' time.